Imaging finding a rare coin so rare it could pay off your house today, we're diving into 10 of the most valuable U.S. coins ever found. Real coins worth hundreds and even millions of dollars or more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next rare find. Let's start this.
Imagine opening an old drawer, brushing aside forgotten receipts and faded photographs, and then your fingers touch a small copper coin that looks ordinary at first glance. But what if that tiny piece of metal could be worth more than a luxury home? What if the Lincoln penny you ignored for decades is secretly a financial time capsule waiting to change your future? Today, we step into the fascinating world of the 1964 Lincoln penny, a coin that many people have held, but very few have truly seen. Because hidden among millions of everyday pennies are rare varieties that collectors have paid staggering sums for, with exceptional specimens reaching values reported as high as $853,000. The question is not whether these coins exist, they do. The question is whether one might already be sitting quietly in your possession, overlooked, underestimated, and silently appreciating in value while you go about your daily life. In 1964, the United States Mint in Denver produced an enormous number of Lincoln pennies. They were used in grocery stores, parking meters, lunch counters, and piggy banks across America. They were never meant to be rare, and that is exactly why the rare ones became legendary. Within this sea of copper coins, certain minting errors slipped through quality control, doubled dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and other subtle irregularities that transformed simple currency into collector treasures. Most people never notice these differences because they are trained to see pennies as insignificant. Yet collectors, investors, and auction houses study them like fine art. The emotional shift here is powerful. Something you once dismissed as pocket change may actually represent opportunity, security, and even legacy. And here is the surprising twist: many of these valuable coins are still being discovered in everyday circulation, coin jars, and inherited collections. It is almost humorous to think that a coin once used to buy a stick of gum could now command the price of a luxury sports car. But history has a way of rewarding those who pay attention. Imagine the moment you hold a 1964 penny under a magnifying glass and notice a doubled letter, an unusual strike, or a mint mark that looks slightly misaligned. Your heart beats a little faster. Is this the one? Could this be the coin that collectors compete fiercely for at auctions? The coin market is not static, it is dynamic, emotional, and driven by scarcity. High-grade examples with verified mint errors have drawn extraordinary bids because serious collectors understand that supply is limited and demand is global. The fear here is real: fear of missing out, fear of unknowingly spending a rare coin, fear of letting a small fortune slip through your fingers. But alongside that fear comes excitement. Because knowledge transforms uncertainty into confidence. When you learn what to look for: sharp details, clean surfaces, verified mint errors, professional grading, you move from being a passive holder of coins to an informed participant in a thriving collector economy. And let's be honest, there is a certain satisfaction in realizing that while others scroll endlessly on their phones, you might be holding a tangible asset with historical and financial weight. It's like discovering a hidden chapter of American history right in the palm of your hand. The story of the 1964 Lincoln penny is not just about metal and mint marks, it is about awareness, timing, and the courage to look closer. For adults between 30 and 65, this is more than a hobby, it can be a strategic move toward financial growth and lifestyle enhancement. Selling rare coins is not about luck alone, it is about preparation, authentication, and presenting your coin in the right marketplace. Professional grading services, reputable auction houses, and specialized coin dealers create pathways where rarity meets serious buyers. The urgency lies in the fact that the market rewards quality and verified authenticity, and the longer you wait without checking your collection, the greater the risk of overlooking value. Yet the tone remains positive and empowering: you are not late, you are not behind, and you do not need to be an expert overnight. Every great collector began with a single coin and a moment of curiosity. The 1964 Lincoln penny stands as a symbol of how ordinary objects can carry extraordinary potential. It reminds us that wealth does not always arrive loudly, sometimes it sits quietly in a jar, waiting for someone wise enough to recognize its worth. Imagine reaching into a dusty drawer, brushing aside old receipts and forgotten keys, and pulling out a single copper coin that could be worth more than a luxury mansion. It sounds like a movie plot, but for a rare 1960 Lincoln penny with a specific mint error, this is not fiction, it is a real possibility that has turned ordinary people into unexpected winners. The year 1960 marked a powerful shift in American coinage history, and hidden among millions of pennies produced in Denver were a handful of extraordinary error coins that today ignite bidding wars among collectors. The shocking truth is that some of these pennies, which once bought a piece of candy, have reached market values reported in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now pause for a second and ask yourself, when was the last time you actually looked at your pennies instead of tossing them aside? Most people never do, and that is exactly why treasures continue to hide in plain sight. That as we step into this journey, understand that coin collecting is not just a hobby, it is a marketplace driven by rarity, condition, and demand. The 1960 Lincoln penny is special because of its historical context and the potential for minting errors that occurred during production. During this era, the U.S. Mint was transitioning designs and equipment, and small inconsistencies sometimes slipped through. These inconsistencies are not flaws to collectors, they are golden signatures of uniqueness. Think about it like a misprinted dollar bill or a rare painting with a signature mistake, what seems imperfect becomes priceless. And here is the humorous twist: somewhere, decades ago, someone probably used one of these rare pennies to buy a stick of gum. That piece of gum might have cost more than a sports car in today's terms. Funny, and a little painful, isn't it? Now the excitement builds, because not every 1960 penny holds extraordinary value, but the ones with distinct errors and exceptional preservation can command astonishing attention. Collectors search intensely for details such as doubled lettering, off-center strikes, or unique die variations. The thrill lies in the hunt, the possibility that the coin resting in your change jar might carry a story worth thousands or even more. This is where emotion meets opportunity. There is excitement in discovery, urgency in action, and yes, even a touch of fear in realizing how easily such a coin could be overlooked or accidentally spent. Picture the coin market like a silent auction room filled with experts leaning forward, eyes sharp, hearts racing as rare pieces appear on the screen. Demand rises not because of hype alone, but because serious collectors understand scarcity. The 1960 error penny has become a symbol of how small objects can hold monumental value. And here is the critical connection: value is not created overnight, it is built through time, rarity, and condition. A coin preserved in near-perfect state becomes a time capsule, a tangible fragment of American history. The marketplace rewards those who recognize this early. The longer rare coins remain undiscovered, the higher their allure grows. It is like hidden treasure aging in a vault while the world rushes past it every day. Let me ask you something unexpected: if someone handed you $1 million painting rolled up like a poster, would you frame it or use it as a table mat? Of course you would protect it. Yet millions of valuable coins sit unprotected in drawers, jars, and piggy banks. The difference between ordinary change and life-changing discovery is awareness. Awareness transforms simple curiosity into financial opportunity. This is not about luck, it is about observation, patience, and knowledge. As we reach the final stage of this story, the message becomes clear and empowering. The 1960 Lincoln penny represents more than copper and metal, it represents possibility. For individuals who understand its significance, it becomes a gateway into a world where history meets wealth. The coin market continues to grow as new collectors enter and seasoned investors compete for the rarest pieces. Demand remains strong because rarity does not increase, it only becomes more difficult to find. This is why experts consistently encourage people to inspect their coins carefully and preserve them properly. The opportunity does not wait forever. Each year, more coins are lost, damaged, or forgotten, which quietly increases the value of the surviving few. There is also a psychological power at play. When people realize the potential hidden in everyday objects, their mindset shifts from passive to proactive. They begin to look closer, research more, and act with intention. This shift alone can open doors not only in coin collecting but in broader financial awareness. The penny that once seemed insignificant suddenly symbolizes attention to detail, patience, and strategic thinking. It becomes a reminder that wealth is often discovered by those willing to look where others do not. So the next time you hear the faint clink of coins in your pocket or notice a penny resting on a countertop, resist the instinct to ignore it. That small piece of metal could carry decades of history and a level of demand that surprises even seasoned collectors. Imagine this: you are cleaning out an old drawer, the kind filled with forgotten memories, loose buttons, and coins that haven't seen daylight in decades. Your fingers brush against a small copper penny, worn but still proud, dated 1967. You almost toss it aside. After all, it's just a penny, right? But what if that single coin, the one you nearly ignored, could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? What if the difference between ordinary and extraordinary wealth was sitting quietly in your palm this entire time? This is not fantasy. This is the hidden world of rare coin collecting, and today we are uncovering the powerful story of the 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark error, a coin that has shocked collectors, surprised families, and in rare high-grade error conditions, has reached astonishing market values reported as high as $856,000. Yes, a penny that could rival the price of a luxury home. And the question is, could you already own one without even knowing it? Now let's step into the first act of our story, discovery. The year is 1967, a time of cultural revolution, space race ambition, and economic transformation in the United States. Millions of Lincoln pennies were struck, flooding the nation's pockets. To the average person, they were simple currency. But within this ocean of copper, a tiny fraction carried subtle anomalies, striking errors, die variations, or exceptional uncirculated preservation that transformed them from common change into collector legends. The absence of a mint mark itself is not automatically rare for 1967, but when paired with extraordinary condition or specific minting irregularities, the coin crosses into a different universe of value. Think about it: the same year, the same design, the same metal, yet one coin buys a cup of coffee, while another commands the attention of elite auction houses. It's like finding out the dusty painting in your attic is an original masterpiece. Suddenly, your perception shifts. You begin to wonder, what else have you overlooked? And here's the humorous twist: if coins could talk, that 1967 penny might be whispering, "Please stop using me to scratch lottery tickets, I'm trying to retire you." In the second act, realization, excitement begins to mix with urgency. Collectors across America are searching relentlessly, scanning coin rolls, estate sales, and inherited collections with magnifying glasses and professional grading tools. Why? Because rare coins are not just metal, they are portable history, financial opportunity, and emotional treasure combined into a single object smaller than your thumb. The 1967 Lincoln penny becomes a symbol of possibility. Imagine the emotional surge of sending a coin for grading and receiving confirmation that it is a high-grade specimen or a verified error. The fear of missing out suddenly becomes real. How many valuable coins have been spent unknowingly on vending machines? How many life-changing opportunities slipped away because someone assumed it's just a penny? This is where awareness becomes power. Knowledge becomes currency. The market for rare coins continues to attract serious investors and passionate collectors who understand that scarcity plus condition equals demand. And demand creates value. In auction rooms and online bidding wars, prices climb not because of metal weight, but because of rarity, story, and preservation. It's not about luck, it's about recognizing what others overlook. Finally, we reach the third act, transformation. This is where inspiration turns into action. The 1967 Lincoln penny represents more than money, it represents a mindset. A mindset that says wealth can be hidden in plain sight, that opportunity favors the observant, and that financial breakthroughs sometimes arrive disguised as ordinary objects. When collectors hold a rare penny, they are not just holding copper, they are holding decades of history, craftsmanship, and market demand compressed into a single artifact. The lifestyle you envision, security, comfort, the ability to enjoy life without constant financial stress, often begins with small intelligent decisions. Checking your coins, educating yourself, seeking professional grading, and understanding market trends are not hobbies, they are strategic moves. And here's the truth that energizes collectors worldwide: the supply of rare high-grade coins is finite, but the number of people discovering coin investing grows every year. That imbalance fuels excitement and urgency. So the next time you see a 1967 penny, pause. Look closer. Imagine reaching into an old jar of pennies on a quiet Sunday afternoon, your fingers brushing against a simple copper coin that looks ordinary, worn, and almost forgotten, and then discovering that this tiny piece of metal could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It sounds like a movie scene, but for a select few collectors across the United States, this is a very real possibility. The 1969 D. Lincoln penny with a rare error is not just a coin, it is a hidden treasure disguised as pocket change, a silent millionaire resting in drawers, piggy banks, and dusty coin albums. Most people overlook pennies without a second thought, yet history has shown that sometimes the smallest objects carry the greatest financial power. The question is not whether these coins exist, the question is whether one might already be in your possession without you even knowing it. As you sit there watching this video, think about how many pennies you've handled in your lifetime. Thousands. Tens of thousands. Now imagine if just one of them held the key to a luxury vacation, a new car, or even a life-changing financial boost. It's both thrilling and slightly unsettling, because what if you unknowingly spent one years ago? That tiny moment of realization is exactly why serious collectors treat every coin like a potential investment opportunity. And yes, while many coins are common, the 1969 D. Lincoln penny with a mint error has built a reputation that commands attention, respect, and extraordinary demand in the numismatic world. And let's be honest, when was the last time you looked at a penny and thought, this could pay my mortgage? Probably never. That's the humor and the tragedy combined. We laugh at pennies, but collectors quietly hunt them like treasure hunters searching for gold. The power of the 1969 D. Lincoln penny lies in its rarity and the mystique surrounding mint errors. A mint error is not simply a flaw, in the coin world, it is often a signature of uniqueness, a fingerprint that separates an ordinary coin from a historic collectible. When such an error appears on a coin from a year already popular among collectors, the result can be explosive demand. Auction rooms become electric, online bidding wars intensify, and prices climb to levels that surprise even seasoned investors. Stories circulate of rare examples reaching astonishing market figures, sometimes approaching values that most people associate with luxury homes rather than copper coins. Here is where excitement meets urgency. The coin market does not wait. Opportunities appear and vanish quickly. Collectors who recognize rarity early position themselves ahead of the curve, while those who hesitate often watch from the sidelines as prices escalate beyond reach. The emotional tension is real because every year more people learn about rare coins, and as awareness grows, so does competition. Think of it like real estate in a booming city: the earlier you recognize the potential, the greater your advantage. And yet, unlike real estate, a rare coin can fit inside the palm of your hand. That contrast is powerful, but here's a question that resets attention: what weighs more, a penny or the regret of selling one for 1 cent that later turns out to be worth a fortune? The penny is only a few grams. The regret, well, that can feel like a mountain. This is why collectors educate themselves, verify authenticity, and stay informed about mint marks, error types, and grading standards. Knowledge transforms uncertainty into confidence, and confidence transforms small discoveries into strategic financial moves. The true beauty of coin collecting and coin selling is empowerment. You are not just holding currency, you are holding history, craftsmanship, and potential wealth combined into a single object. The 1969 D. Lincoln penny with an error symbolizes more than monetary value, it represents the idea that opportunity often hides in plain sight. For adults between 30 and 65 who appreciate the blend of nostalgia and smart financial decisions, this world offers both emotional satisfaction and tangible reward. It is not about chasing fantasies, it is about recognizing possibilities and acting with informed awareness. there is also a psychological shift that occurs when you start viewing coins differently. Suddenly, spare change becomes a field of exploration. Old jars become mystery boxes. Family collections become time capsules filled with untapped potential. This shift changes habits, increases attention to detail, and encourages smarter financial thinking. It's almost humorous how quickly a person can go from ignoring pennies to examining them under a magnifying glass like a detective solving a high-stakes case. Yet that curiosity is exactly what separates casual observers from successful collectors. The demand for rare coins continues to grow because history never loses value. New collectors enter the market each year, auction platforms expand globally, and digital communities spread information faster than ever before. This creates a momentum where rare and verified pieces gain prestige and desirability over time. When you combine rarity, historical significance, and collector enthusiasm, you create a market dynamic that rewards patience, research, and decisive action. So the next time a penny lands in your hand, pause for a moment. Look at the date. Notice the mint mark. Consider the possibility that you might be holding more than a coin, you might be holding a story, an investment, or a turning point. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, a coin so small, so ordinary, that most people would toss it into a jar without a second thought. Now imagine that same penny quietly carrying a value of hundreds of thousands of dollars, enough to change a retirement plan, pay off a mortgage, or fund the lifestyle you once only dreamed about. The 1971 Lincoln penny is not just spare change. For a select few, it has become a hidden treasure disguised as everyday currency. And here's the uncomfortable truth: while you're watching this video, someone else might already be cashing in on a coin you could have sitting in your drawer right now. Sounds unbelievable? That disbelief is exactly why fortunes slip through people's fingers every single day. The year 1971 marked a fascinating era in American minting history, and the San Francisco Mint, identified by the small but powerful S mint mark, produced pennies that today are sending shockwaves through the collector's market. Most coins blend into history, but a rare error or unique variation can elevate a simple copper disc into an elite asset sought after by collectors worldwide. Think about it: what if the penny you ignored yesterday is the one collectors are willing to fight over today? It's almost ironic that something worth less than a cup of coffee decades ago can now command the price of a luxury car, or even a house. If coins could talk, this one would whisper, "You underestimated me." The 1971 Lincoln penny with specific mint errors has evolved from pocket change into a symbol of opportunity. Collectors are not just buying coins, they are buying history, rarity, and prestige. When an error coin surfaces in pristine condition, the market reacts with intensity. Auctions become battlegrounds where seasoned investors and passionate collectors compete fiercely, pushing prices into astonishing territory. Reports of values reaching $847,000 have ignited excitement and urgency among those who understand that rarity is not just valuable, it is powerful. The coin market thrives on scarcity, and scarcity creates demand. Demand creates competition. And competition creates life-changing numbers. Here's the intriguing part: most people never bother to look closely at their coins. They assume value only exists in gold bars or stock portfolios, not in the humble penny resting in a kitchen drawer. That assumption is precisely why rare coins continue to slip unnoticed through millions of hands. Picture this: you're cleaning out an old jar, casually sorting coins, and suddenly you notice the tiny S mint mark paired with a subtle but significant error. Your heartbeat quickens. Could this really be it? It feels like finding a winning lottery ticket you didn't even know you bought. And yet, this isn't luck alone, it's awareness meeting opportunity. Even a 5-second glance at your change can be the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. And let's be honest for a moment: if pennies were truly worthless, why would collectors in tailored suits raise their paddles with such confidence at auctions? They're not bidding for nostalgia alone. They're investing in tangible history. Coins are portable wealth, silent storytellers, and in the right condition, financial powerhouses. The beauty lies in their simplicity. You don't need a vault or a financial advisor to start looking. Sometimes all you need is curiosity, and perhaps better lighting than your living room at midnight. The real question is not whether the 1971 Lincoln penny can be valuable, the market has already answered that. The real question is whether you will recognize opportunity before it passes you by. Every day, rare coins are sold for astonishing amounts because their owners took a moment to verify what others ignored. Time is a silent factor in this journey. As awareness spreads, competition increases, and once hidden treasures become harder to acquire. Acting sooner rather than later places you ahead of the curve, not chasing it. Opportunity rarely announces itself loudly, it usually appears quietly, disguised as something ordinary. Imagine the satisfaction of discovering that a small coin in your possession holds the potential to reshape your financial landscape. It's not just about money, it's about empowerment, knowledge, and the thrill of uncovering something extraordinary in the most unexpected place. The 1971 Lincoln penny stands as a reminder that wealth does not always arrive in grand gestures. Sometimes it arrives in copper, less than an inch wide, waiting patiently for someone perceptive enough to notice its true worth. So the next time you encounter a penny, pause for a moment. Look closer. Because hidden within that tiny circle of metal could be a story of rarity, demand, and remarkable value. In a world where people constantly search for the next big opportunity, it's almost poetic that one of the greatest possibilities might already be resting in the palm of your hand. Imagine opening an old drawer in your home tonight, pushing aside a few forgotten receipts, a broken watch, and a handful of dusty coins, and suddenly realizing that one small copper penny in your palm could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not a gold bar. Not a lottery ticket. Just a simple 1973 Lincoln penny that most people would spend without a second thought. Now here's the unsettling truth: millions of Americans may have already held this coin, and unknowingly let it slip through their fingers for 1 cent. Let that sink in for a moment. What if the next time you check your coin jar, you're not just counting change, you're uncovering a hidden asset that collectors are fighting over? It sounds unbelievable, almost like a movie plot, but in the world of rare coins, extraordinary discoveries happen every single year. And today, we're diving into one of the most talked about treasures in modern numismatics, the 1973 Mint Mark Lincoln penny, with rare error variations that have shocked auction houses and transformed ordinary collectors into financially empowered individuals almost overnight. Produced in massive quantities, and at first glance, it looks completely ordinary. Abraham Lincoln's calm profile, the familiar copper tone, the small mint mark beneath the year, nothing screams luxury or exclusivity. Yet, within this ocean of everyday pennies, a few rare error specimens emerged, and these are the coins that ignite bidding wars among elite collectors. We're talking about subtle but powerful imperfections, double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned mint marks, and unique planchet anomalies. These tiny minting quirks, often invisible to the untrained eye, are exactly what transform a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure collectible. It's almost ironic, isn't it? The very mistakes that were never meant to happen are now the reason fortunes are being made. Think about that the next time you see a coin that looks slightly different. That small irregularity could be the detail that changes everything. And here's where excitement meets urgency: the market for rare coins isn't slowing down. High net worth collectors and investors are constantly searching for the next standout piece, and when a verified high-grade 1973 error penny appears, the competition becomes fierce. Prices surge not because of hype alone, but because rarity plus demand equals explosive value. Now picture this scenario: you're sitting at your kitchen table, casually sorting coins while watching television, and suddenly you notice a strange doubling in the lettering or an unusual shine that doesn't match the rest. Your heart races. Is this just a trick of the light, or are you holding a numismatic gem? That moment of uncertainty is where many people either dismiss opportunity or step into a life-changing discovery. Humorously enough, some of the most valuable coins in America were found in piggy banks and couch cushions. Yes, the same couch that also hides missing TV remotes and snack crumbs. But hidden among those crumbs could be a coin worth more than a luxury car. That contrast alone should make anyone pause before spending loose change without a second look. The 1973 penny was minted in Denver. As we reach the final act of this journey, the message becomes clear: opportunity favors the observant. The 1973 D. Lincoln penny represents more than copper and design, it represents the power of awareness, patience, and informed action. For individuals who understand what to look for and who take the extra step to verify authenticity through professional grading services, the rewards can be astonishing. Stories of coins reaching valuations in the hundreds of thousands of dollars are not myths designed to entertain, they are real outcomes from real auctions where collectors recognized rarity and acted decisively. And this is where fear quietly transforms into motivation. The fear of missing out becomes the fuel that drives smarter decisions. The excitement of discovery becomes the spark that turns curiosity into expertise. Imagine the confidence of walking into a reputable coin dealer or auction house, not as someone guessing, but as someone informed, prepared, and empowered. The coin in your hand is no longer spare change, it's a potential asset, a conversation starter, and possibly a financial milestone. The lifestyle shift doesn't come from luck alone, it comes from knowledge meeting opportunity. Every penny you examine becomes a doorway to possibility. Every detail you learn increases your advantage. And the beauty of coin collecting is that it blends history, strategy, and wealth potential into one fascinating pursuit. So the next time you hear the soft clink of coins dropping into a jar, don't just hear noise, hear potential. The 1973 D. Lincoln penny reminds us that value often hides in plain sight, waiting for someone patient enough to notice and bold enough to act. In a world where people chase trends and overlook the ordinary, those who pay attention to the smallest details often unlock the greatest rewards. Imagine holding a simple copper penny between your fingers, a coin so ordinary that millions of people have tossed it into jars, drawers, and forgotten piggy banks, and yet, hidden among those everyday coins could be a silent financial miracle. The 1975 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has become one of the most talked about coins among collectors, not because it looks different at first glance, but because of what it represents: rarity, timing, and opportunity. Think about this for a moment. How many pennies have passed through your hands in your lifetime? Hundreds? Thousands? And what if just one of them could be worth life-changing money? This is the story of the coin most people ignore, and the few who recognize its power. The question is not whether these coins exist, they absolutely do. The real question is, are you paying attention when opportunity is literally staring back at you from your pocket? In the mid-1970s, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies, and most of them were struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark, making them appear completely normal. But within this ocean of ordinary coins, certain error variations and exceptional high-grade examples quietly slipped into circulation. Years later, collectors began to realize that some of these 1975 pennies, especially those with striking anomalies or pristine uncirculated condition, were commanding astonishing prices at auctions. Reports of rare specimens selling for extraordinary amounts, sometimes reaching figures discussed as high as hundreds of thousands of dollars, ignited a wave of excitement across the numismatic world. Suddenly, what once seemed like loose change became a treasure hunt. It's almost humorous when you think about it. People will inspect diamonds with magnifying glasses but throw pennies into a jar without a second thought. Yet here we are, living in a time where a 1-cent coin can spark more curiosity than a gold bar. That contrast alone should make anyone pause and reconsider what they might already own. Now imagine the emotional journey of someone discovering such a coin. At first, disbelief. Then curiosity. Then the adrenaline rush of possibility. This is where the true power of coin collecting intersects with human psychology. Fear whispers, what if I overlook something valuable? Excitement counters, what if I've been sitting on a fortune for years? And urgency pushes forward, what if someone else finds it first? These emotions are not weaknesses, they are motivators. The 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln penny symbolizes more than monetary value, it represents awareness, patience, and the willingness to look closer than everyone else. In a world obsessed with speed, the person who slows down to examine details often wins. It's like walking past a lottery ticket lying on the ground because it looks ordinary. The difference between those who prosper and those who miss out is often a single decision to pay attention. As the market for rare coins continues to grow, demand for unique and high-quality Lincoln pennies has strengthened among collectors and investors alike. Coins that were once dismissed are now being professionally graded, auctioned, and fiercely competed over. This demand creates a powerful environment where knowledge becomes currency. When you understand what to look for, sharp details, unusual striking characteristics, exceptional preservation, you position yourself ahead of the crowd. And here's the fascinating part: most valuable coins are not discovered by experts in vaults, they are found by ordinary people who simply decided to check their change. It almost feels ironic, doesn't it? The same coin you might use to buy a piece of candy could, under the right circumstances, buy far more than that. Opportunity rarely announces itself with fireworks, sometimes it arrives disguised as a penny. By the end of this journey, one truth becomes clear: wealth does not always roar, sometimes it whispers. The 1975 Lincoln penny with no mint mark reminds us that value is not always obvious, and those who cultivate awareness, curiosity, and decisive action are the ones who benefit most. Whether the coin you discover turns out to be a rare error, a pristine collector's piece, or simply a reminder to stay observant, the mindset you develop is priceless. Imagine this: a single ordinary-looking penny sitting quietly in a jar, a coin so small it could slip between your fingers without a second thought, yet that same coin has the potential to command hundreds of thousands of dollars in the collector's market. Yes, a simple 1978 Lincoln penny, a coin most Americans have seen, touched, and possibly spent without hesitation, could be the hidden key to a financial breakthrough. And here's the unsettling question: what if you already had one and didn't even know it? That tiny copper disc you ignored yesterday could be worth more than a luxury car today. This is not fantasy, this is the fascinating reality of rare coin collecting, a world where knowledge transforms pocket change into life-changing wealth, and today we uncover the mystery of the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny error, a coin whispered about in collector circles, chased by investors, and valued in extraordinary figures when the right rare error is present. In the late 1970s, millions of pennies rolled off the presses, filling banks, wallets, and piggy banks across the United States. Most were ordinary, but hidden among them were anomalies, minting irregularities so subtle that only a trained eye or a curious mind would notice. The 1978 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is often dismissed because Philadelphia coins traditionally carried no mint mark during that era, but here is where the intrigue begins. Certain rare error varieties, double dies, off-center strikes, and exceptional condition grades, can elevate what appears to be a common coin into a collector's prize. The excitement builds when we understand that rarity is not always about age, it is about uniqueness and condition. Think about it like this: two houses built the same year can have drastically different values, one is average, the other is a masterpiece. Coins work the same way. And somewhere, perhaps in a forgotten drawer or inherited collection, lies a masterpiece disguised as spare change. It sounds almost humorous, doesn't it? A penny worth a fortune, the same coin you once used to buy gum, but the market has proven time and again that small metal discs can carry enormous financial weight. Now imagine the emotional shift from curiosity to urgency. Collectors across the nation are actively hunting for high-grade 1978 pennies with rare mint errors because demand continues to rise whenever exceptional specimens surface at auction. The fear many people experience is not losing money, it is the fear of missing opportunity. Every day, coins are unknowingly spent, exchanged, or discarded, and with them vanish possibilities that could have funded dreams, businesses, or retirement comfort. This is why awareness is power. When a certified rare error penny in pristine condition appears, bidding wars can ignite, pushing values into astonishing territory, sometimes cited in the hundreds of thousands for the most exceptional examples. The market rewards rarity, authenticity, and preservation. And here's the humorous twist: while some people jog for fitness, others are literally searching couch cushions for treasure. Different cardio, same sweat. As we reach the final act, the realization becomes clear: wealth is not always created, sometimes it is discovered. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny represents more than metal, it represents vigilance, education, and the courage to look closer at what others overlook. The journey from pocket change to prized asset begins with awareness and ends with decisive action. Examine your coins. Learn the signs of rare errors. Seek professional grading when something appears unusual. Because the difference between a 1-cent coin and a high-value collectible is often just a microscopic detail, a doubling of letters, an off-center strike, an immaculate surface untouched by circulation. The opportunity exists not only for seasoned collectors but for anyone willing to pay attention. The market thrives on scarcity and condition, and those who recognize value early position themselves ahead of the crowd. So the next time you hear the clink of pennies in your pocket, pause for a moment. That sound might not be spare change, it might be potential echoing in copper tones. Opportunity rarely announces itself loudly, sometimes it whispers from the bottom of a jar. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, the same jar that has been sitting quietly on your kitchen shelf for years, and pulling out a single penny that could be worth more than a luxury home. It sounds like a fantasy, almost like a movie plot, but for a small number of collectors across the United States, this has become a very real possibility. The 1984 Lincoln penny without a visible mint mark is one of those coins that has sparked intense excitement, debate, and, for a lucky few, life-changing profits. Before you dismiss this as just another coin story, ask yourself a simple question: when was the last time you actually looked closely at the pennies in your pocket? In the world of coin collecting, value is not measured by size, but by rarity, condition, and hidden errors that most people overlook. The 1984 Lincoln penny may appear ordinary at first glance, but under magnification, certain error variations have commanded astonishing prices at auctions. We are talking about coins that have turned spare change into headlines and ordinary individuals into confident sellers walking into auction houses with a smile that says, "I knew this was special." The absence of a mint mark, combined with specific die errors or doubling features, transforms what looks like a 1-cent coin into a treasure. It is almost humorous to think that something smaller than a button could outshine a luxury watch in value, yet that is exactly what has happened in the high-end numismatic market. But here is where the emotional reality sets in. Every year, thousands of valuable coins are unknowingly spent at grocery stores, dropped into vending machines, or forgotten in drawers. The fear of missing out is not imaginary, it is happening daily. Someone, somewhere, is paying for a cup of coffee with a coin that a collector would have paid thousands for. The difference between loss and opportunity is awareness. Excitement begins the moment you realize that you might already own something extraordinary. Urgency grows when you understand that the market rewards those who act, verify, and present their coins professionally. The question is not whether rare coins exist, the question is whether you will recognize one before it disappears into circulation forever. Now imagine the transformation. You start paying attention. You examine dates, mint marks, and tiny design details. Suddenly, coins are no longer just loose change, they become miniature works of history and potential financial leverage. The 1984 Lincoln penny, especially in pristine condition or with recognized minting anomalies, has been the subject of intense collector demand. High-grade specimens and dramatic error varieties have achieved remarkable auction results, creating stories that travel quickly through collector communities. It is not merely about luck, it is about preparation meeting opportunity. Even a simple magnifying glass can become your gateway to discovery. And let's be honest, checking pennies is far cheaper than buying lottery tickets, and far more educational too. As the journey continues, confidence replaces doubt. You begin to understand grading, authentication, and market timing. You learn that professional verification can dramatically increase a coin's credibility and perceived value. Auction platforms, certified grading services, and collector networks become tools rather than mysteries. The lifestyle you envision, financial comfort, the pride of smart decisions, the thrill of uncovering hidden assets, starts to feel tangible. The penny becomes a symbol, not just of currency, but of awareness and strategic thinking. It is fascinating how something once ignored can become a conversation starter at family gatherings. Remember that penny I almost spent? In the final act, the message becomes clear and empowering. The opportunity is not reserved for experts or millionaires, it is open to anyone willing to look closer, learn faster, and act decisively. The 1984 Lincoln penny without a mint mark represents more than a collectible, it represents the idea that value often hides in plain sight. The market's strong demand for rare and error coins shows no sign of fading, and those who educate themselves position their future on stronger ground. The next time you receive change, pause for a second longer than usual. Imagine opening an old jar of pennies on a quiet evening, the kind most people would overlook without a second thought, and suddenly realizing that one tiny copper coin in your hand could be worth more than a luxury car, more than a year's salary, perhaps even a life-changing sum. That is the hidden power of the 1995 Lincoln penny with no mint mark error, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance yet has captured the attention of serious collectors and high-end auctions across the United States. While millions of pennies pass through hands every day, only a microscopic fraction ever rise to legendary status, and the thrilling truth is that many of these rare treasures are still sitting unnoticed in drawers, piggy banks, and forgotten jars. The question that should echo in your mind right now is simple but electrifying: what if one of them is already in your home? The 1995 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is more than spare change, it represents the fascinating intersection of history, manufacturing precision, and human oversight. Coin errors are not merely mistakes, they are anomalies that disrupt perfection, and collectors are drawn to them like magnets. In certain exceptional conditions and verified error varieties, examples of this coin have reached astonishing auction figures, with elite specimens commanding prices that have climbed into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is not fantasy, not speculation, but documented moments where an overlooked cent transformed into a financial milestone. Think about the emotional contrast: a coin worth 1 cent in your pocket versus a coin worth thousands, even potentially hundreds of thousands, in a collector's vault. The difference is knowledge, awareness, and timing. And timing, in the coin market, is everything. Now pause for a second and consider something almost humorous yet deeply revealing. How many times have you handed a penny to a cashier without even looking at the date? How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers simply because no one told you to pay attention? The coin market does not reward ignorance, but it generously rewards curiosity and action. The excitement lies in the possibility that your next grocery store receipt or old coffee can might be holding a miniature copper lottery ticket. This is not about gambling, this is about informed discovery. The fear of missing out is real, and in the world of rare coins, hesitation can cost more than money, it can cost opportunity. As the story unfolds, the 1995 no mint mark penny becomes a symbol of how small details create massive value. Mint marks, die errors, doubling effects, and preservation grades are not random technicalities, they are the language of wealth within numismatics. A coin in average condition might be worth a few cents, but a coin in pristine, near-perfect condition with a recognized error can skyrocket in demand. The market thrives on rarity combined with condition, and collectors are constantly searching for the next premium specimen to complete their portfolios. This relentless demand fuels rising prices and competitive bidding, turning quiet auctions into intense battlegrounds of wealth and prestige. The urgency is undeniable. Coins that are valuable today can become even more sought after tomorrow as surviving high-grade examples become scarcer. Picture the moment of verification: sending your coin to a professional grading service, waiting with anticipation, and receiving confirmation that what you hold is extraordinary. That single envelope returning in the mail can redefine how you see everyday objects forever. It's a transformation not just of a coin, but of perspective. Suddenly, every pocket change transaction becomes a treasure hunt, every roll of pennies a potential discovery. There is excitement in the process, authority in knowledge, and empowerment in action. The lifestyle many dream about, financial comfort, confidence in assets, and smart investing, often begins with recognizing value where others see none. In the end, the 1995 Lincoln penny with no mint mark error is not just a piece of metal, it is a reminder that wealth often hides in plain sight. The difference between those who benefit and those who miss out is the willingness to look closer, learn deeper, and act sooner. The coin market rewards patience, attention, and courage.